So I had a 10-year gap in between my other season and coming back. And that's a beautiful story of God calling me, and how I'll be happy to tell that sometime. But I want to just again set the stage. The Catholic pro-life community was established in 1993 by then Bishop Rahman. And it's been ever since then the largest diocesan ministry of its kind in the country. So recently, some wonderful things have happened. With the Dobbs decision in 2022 and then the trigger ban in Texas, abortion is virtually illegal in all cases in the state of Texas. Prior to that, there was the heartbeat legislation as well, which was also very, very restrictive of abortion. Mm-hmm. This year, this recent session alone of the Texas legislature, they passed 10 pro-life laws. Mm-hmm. Everything from promoting adoption in Texas schools, that has to be part of the curriculum, to clarifying some laws around the life of the mother, because there was misunderstanding and there was a lot of really bad press that women were left to die because doctors were afraid to help them in an ectopic pregnancy because they didn't want to be subject to legislation. The legislature clarified all that. So one might think, with all this great pro-life support from the state of Texas, which is the most pro-life state in the country, that abortion would be over in our community, that CPLC could kind of pack its bags. We're done. We've done our work. But as no doubt most of you know, chemical abortion is the most popular form of abortion, and it is still possible. Now, the legislature passed a law to make it, to try to limit this, and I can get into that later, but it just comes in the mail. There's been a lot of, when it first came out on the market, the FDA had all these rules. You had to have at least free doctor visits. And then through the progressive presidential administrations, the restrictions were less and less. And now anybody, for any reason, can order abortion pills online, have them mailed to their home in Dallas. It could be a young man giving it to his girlfriend. You don't even have to be the pregnant woman to order them. So it's hard to know how many abortions are really happening because they're happening in apartments and homes. There are about 1 in 11 women that are taking the pills that end up going to the hospital. They have physical effects, but they're not always reporting that they took the pills. Sometimes they're advised to just say they're having a miscarriage. So it's a problem. It's a problem. We have to reach them. We spoke with a marketing company recently, and they told us that over the last 3 months in Dallas, there's a monthly average of 27,000 searches for abortion online. So this is what we need to speak into. And so one of our new initiatives is really trying to reach that abortion-minded girl and woman early in the ways that she's going to find the information, which is online. It's paid ads in Google. It's search engine optimization. It's the right keywords on our websites. You could say it's TikTok and things like that too. That's an important way for the movement to really get ahead of it, to really, project the truth about the life of the unborn child and the dignity of the mother before she's even pregnant. So that's a whole other, way that we need to, as a movement, build that culture of life. So, but immediately we've got pregnant women in our community that need help, that are looking for abortion. They don't know what to do. They found out they were pregnant. Now what? So in July, the CPLC adopted Bloom Pregnancy Help Center. I know the word merger is kind of a colloquial word and people use it. It is also a legal word, and we didn't merge. Actually, they did close their operations, and we got permission to use the name, to use their website, and to hire employees from the health center. So we have 4 employees that came over from Bloom. And for those of you who are like, what's Bloom? They used to be called Birth Choice. So they've been around for 16 years. their location was right next to the late-term abortion facility, Southwestern. And they closed that, and they've moved into our offices at Preston Road, just north of Campbell. So where you have White Rose, long time, wonderful ministry serving in, closer to the downtown, kind of the uptown area, right? We're more the northern, right? And believe me, there are plenty of girls that live in Plano that need our services. So it is not a problem to find us. And it's been so beautiful having them there. So why did we do it? Well, we had for a long time had Project Gabriel. Now we're kind of calling it Gabriel Outreach. And this is where you meet that woman who's accepted her pregnancy, but she needs more support. So she gets paired with a Gabriel angel, and Rosemary is one of our Gabriel angels. I don't know if she's ever spoken to you about it. Be sure to ask her about that experience because she's primo. It's loving mentoring. It's practical care. It's emotional support. And it makes all the difference because of a study came out in 2023 that 6 out of 10 women that have had abortions believe they would not have done so if they'd had emotional support and financial security. So yes, while we want to change the minds of all 100% that are bound to get an abortion, we're not focused right now on the 40%. That's going to take other tactics. But for that 60%, let's save every one of those babies by providing their mother with the emotional support and financial security that she needs. So financial security, that's a big one. Well, we have a supporter who has committed to paying for daycare for the single mothers in our program. And every month they're sending us a check out of their fund so that these mothers who are really having to support themselves and their babies can go to work, have peace of mind. Daycare is covered because daycare is very expensive. And a lot of our moms aren't working professional jobs. They're working and they're good, hard workers, but they're not earning enough to make that daycare solution very viable. So we're stepping in with Gabriel Outreach for that. We also make a lot of referrals. CPLC doesn't have a maternity home, but there's so many beautiful maternity homes that we're collaborating with. We need more, but Bella House has 2 campuses. In My Shoes is another one. And Mater Maria, operated through Catholic Charities, is another one. So back in the day, Margie, when I started with CPLC, it was only Missionaries of Charity, and that's still operating as well, down in South Dallas. That was the only Catholic maternity home. And we would I was with the Gabriel program then and always try to find placement for our moms. And different homes would kind of pop up and then go away and pop up and go away. But now we're in a much better place. So the Bella House moms actually participate in our GEMS program, and that's our 2-year educational program. So the moms come every month. They're in person, and then they're online the other part of the time. I like to be a baby holder and come do the childcare while the moms are getting their classes in CPR or job skills or nutritional cooking for their families. And I've got a flyer out here on November 15th. Mark your calendar. We'll have the Christ Child Market and Brunch. And that's a wonderful event where you do your Christmas shopping. You hear a beautiful talk. It'll be Father Lucas from St. Paul speaking. And then we'll graduate. I think we have 4 of our moms through the GEMS program. So Gabriel is really powerful. And so now with Bloom, we've got that full spectrum where we meet them right at the beginning. When they discover they're pregnant, they get their pregnancy test, they get their ultrasound, they get, options counseling. They really, and these ladies are so spiritual, these Bloom ladies. I absolutely adore them. In our office, we're praying at minimum twice a day, the noon Angelus and the 3 o'clock Divine Mercy. But if there's somebody who is really vulnerable in that counseling room and we get word in the office, very quietly, we're all praying. And I would love to make sure that we've got a prayer support group. Like every time we've got somebody that is vulnerable, that we can text those individuals. So if you're interested, please come see me because I want to start building that. Because this is spiritual. It's spiritual warfare. And we need the prayers for these moms. But by being able to offer them that loving counseling and then immediately say, we can pair you with the Gabriel angel. We can provide you material support. We're with you. You're not alone. And it's all kind of in one place. We're going to really strengthen our service to these moms. And we hope to expand. We already added another counseling room just before our open house last Saturday. So those are our primary support services at CPLC. And we have two other really important ministries. One is healing after abortion. And we're really the only entity in Dallas that is offering this. And think about it. Think about all the millions of people that have been involved in abortion. It's either the mother or the father. And this is a secret that has a lot of shame associated with it. I mean, there might be people that say, shout out your abortion. People aren't really doing that. In our church, they're definitely not doing that. There's a lot of shame and regret and hurt. And we offer this program, but they can come on a confidential retreat or participate in a confidential healing group. And believe me, the confidentiality is extreme. Eileen Coleman will not let me know a single name of anybody on the retreat. She's super careful about that. And I understand it. On this retreat, they get the chance to share their story and receive the healing of Jesus in a new way. If they're Catholic, they've been to confession. They've probably confessed it multiple times because the pain is so deep, it's hard to feel forgiven. But this retreat really releases so much of that. And it doesn't do it by allowing the person to just escape accountability. Not at all. They have to own it. Just like when you go to confession, you own it. But then you also own and receive Christ's forgiveness and healing. We had an elderly woman on a recent retreat. She probably had told nobody her secret for her entire life, but she wanted to be free before it was time to meet the Lord. We had a Project Joseph retreat. That's for men only. Tom made that retreat. Tom Rudy is our executive director. He made that retreat and he had a different pain to bring, not an abortion-related pain, but we're all encouraged on our team to participate, to know what this is really like. So he had a loss through miscarriage and a stillbirth. And he was able to really heal from that in a way that he hadn't before. But he also witnessed a man who had kept his secret for 30 years of his guilt and shame over a loss. So this is a really, really important program for the well-being of our community and to, again, advance life, because many of these people kind of quietly get involved in making sure that nobody feels that they ever have to commit an abortion. And then finally, we have our parish engagement. This is trying to touch all 78 parishes in the diocese. We have 42 active Respect Life leaders. Out of this program, we're also offering education at a more diocesan level. And so we're going to have Father Robert Spitzer coming to speak at Prince of Peace Parish, October 25th. It's a breakfast gathering. And I know you all are very busy, as I could tell from Lauren, so you might have your calendar booked already. But if not, Father Robert Spitzer is amazing. He's developed a beautiful model of pro-life education that I think we'll really all want to hear about and understand. He brings together science and religion like nobody else. If he's got a couple of different channels and websites, and he's fantastic. So we'll do it. And then in January, we're going to host Jason Everett, who's the premier chastity speaker. And he will be speaking. I don't have the exact dates and location. I heard Holy Family of Nazareth and I heard St. Francis Frisco. So stay tuned. But we want all the youth in the diocese and their parents to come and hear him and really empower these young people. So again, they don't ever have to find themselves in the situation of, oh my goodness, there's a pregnancy here. I've got to hide it. My parents will never understand. I can't do this. I can't embarrass them. I'm going to take care of it. Or even be in the situation at all of an unwed pregnancy. It is possible. It is possible to be chaste until marriage. And we want to give them that empowerment. So those are our four primary ministries to date. And, Margie has seen we've morphed over the years, but we're always trying to respond to the moment. and acknowledge the other fantastic pro-life ministries that are all around us, but all the while remaining that strong voice of the Catholic Church in Dallas, that we stand for life. And the only reason that we're the biggest in the country is because of you, because this truly, the pro-life community, around the pro-life community, has ensured that where abortion began with Roe v. Wade at a federal courthouse downtown, abortion must end. So thank you for making this possible. And it's delightful to be back. So I'm happy to answer any questions you have about Bloom coming on board or anything that we're doing, anything you're wondering about. Yes, Tally.
Can I make a statement?
Please.
Yeah, I'm a retired neurologist, and I started out in general neurology and evolved into a head doctor, migraine, and birth control pills can aggravate migraine. I spent my practice talking to women who have frequent migraine. You ought to get off the pill, if they wouldn't do it. About 20 years ago, this abortion pill idea came up. And I remember at the time there were a number of articles published. I don't read the OB literature and all that kind of stuff because I'm a neurologist, but you would see it because it'd be in the news and how so many people died from it. And there are a bunch of medical articles regarding people dying for taking this drug.
Yeah.
I just looked it up again on the app I have in my phone, and about the drug it says black box warning, which is to any doctor to alert that there's something really wrong with this drug. So when it first came out, I remember thinking, well, people aren't going to use this. Doctor won't prescribe this. But now it's looked at as being normal. And it's in the news, and people are talking about it. So just a comment saying how that's changed with that horrible drug, black box warning. It kills people with medical records showing that.
Right.
Now we use it.
Right. And the FDA supposedly just came out yesterday with endorsing the generic version,
Right.
I believe.
Yeah.
That's
right.
so I'm like,
Yeah. So I was, I think, about 12 years old when I first learned about abortion. And when a girl in my Catholic school had some materials from her mother, brought them in, was sharing them. And I saw these images and I thought, oh my goodness, surely this is going to be over in a matter of months when people see what abortion does. So that was back in the 70s. And yet, look in our lifetimes. I never really thought I would see Roe overturned in my lifetime. I didn't. Now, it definitely are fighting a new battle because we have 50 years of training that abortion is a solution for an inconvenient pregnancy. So you don't get over that overnight. But yet we should have hope. The Lord, for whatever reason, he wants us to keep fighting and keep witnessing to the goodness of life. So we have a lot of opportunities this month, and I've got some materials over there. I mentioned the Father Spitzer event. If you can come, please do. It's a free event. Invite everybody. Then we've got the Hikes for Life, are October 4th. 11th and 18th. I know you've got a big event on the 18th, but one of those hikes, they have their own website, so you could participate in that. You can just show up and make a donation that day. You can say, I'll hike and get some donations from your friends. Any way you want to do it. And that supports all of the pro-life organizations in the city. And then what else do we have? We have another October event. Oh, yeah. Our Respect Life Mass. I think my printer ran out of toner before I got to that one. October 11th, the annual Respect Life Mass at St. Mark in Plano. And so it'll be Bishop Burns will be celebrating that. And that's it. It's just the evening Mass. It's the 5:00 Mass. And then I believe afterward, Bella House has an event. So please consider coming to that. We love our partnership with Bella House. They're great. But all of them are wonderful. They're doing great work. So, yeah.
Are any of the Protestant denominations doing similar type work to support, the mothers choosing heaven?
Yeah, that's a great question, Christy. So the Protestants, Christians that are, pro-life. So one of our supporters is an organization called Council for Life. You may have heard of them. They issue grants to pro-life organizations in our community, and then they're building some affiliates in other areas. So they have a fall forum where if you want to apply for a grant, you show up, you get the latest information on the grant application process, and you get a chance to introduce yourself to people in the room. There were dozens of people in that room. The primary way that our Protestant brothers and sisters serve is the Pregnancy Resource Center. And they do that, with purpose and great intention and great achievement. I will say there is a nuanced difference in how we do it, because they actually like to track the number of women who give their lives to Jesus in that encounter. And we don't really quite approach it that same way. Of course, we want their spiritual well-being, but there's a little nuance. And so I appreciate they recognize this is a person in crisis. We're going to give them Jesus before we do anything else. I respect it. That's where they're coming from. But they do provide real help. Some of them have a medical model as well. So we provide ultrasound pregnancy testing, but we don't do, and we might do some STD testing. I'm not sure. I need to look into that, Rosemary. Do you know if we do STD testing? Yeah. Okay. So that's primary. I am not aware of a non-Catholic maternity home right now operating in Dallas. They've had them in the past, because when I was with Gabriel before in my other life, I would make those referrals. So, let's see. Some of them also are stepping into the chastity education. So there's a program called Just Say Yes, and they've been around a long time, and they do a great job.
Yeah, good job.